time. Who seeks recognition? For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition? The clerk will report.
Amendment offered by Mr. LaMalfa of California. At the end of the bill, before the short title, insert the following section. None of the funds made available by this act may be used to regulate activities identified in subparagraphs A and C of Section 404F1 of the Federal Water Pollution Control Act, 33 United States Code 1344F1AC.
The gentleman from California is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm pleased to be able to present this amendment here. Thank you, the Chairman of the committee, for allowing this. We have a situation here where Section 404F1 of the Clean Water Act exempts certain activities from the permitting requirements under Section 404, including norming, forestry, and ranching activities, and construction, maintenance of farm, forest roads, irrigation ditches, and farm ponds. In 1977, Congress made a deliberate policy choice to amend the Clean Water Act to provide carefully tailored exemptions for these ordinary activities of farmers, ranchers, and foresters from the costly and burdensome requirements to obtain Clean Water Act permits. Despite this clear expression of congressional intent, however, the Corps of Engineers and the EPA in recent years have been trying to circumvent the 404F1 permitting exemptions by attempting to interpret a limited recapture provision in Section 404F2 in such an expansive way as to virtually swallow up the exemptions in 404F1. As a result, we have a situation where Congress clearly provided a regulatory exemption from permitting in one paragraph of the Clean Water Act, only to have the Corps and EPA now take it away through a creative interpretation of the next paragraph. The Corps and EPA cannot take away administratively what Congress gave legislatively. These administrative efforts to undermine congressional intent have resulted in excessive and overzealous efforts to expand regulatory powers into farming and ranching activities exempted from regulation. In one instance, a family farm attempted to convert pasture land irrigated by ditch to a piped irrigation system to improve their water efficiency, a laudable goal from any perspective. This is an activity clearly exempted from regulation by Section 404F1, yet the core argument that potential runoff from this work, which would run into a man-made drainage ditch and eventually into a terminal man-made pond with no outlet, would impact somehow the navigable waterway of the Sacramento River, which is over 6 miles away, which really bears no relation to reality of this regulation. This claim by the Corps, today $2,500 project, into now a multi-year legal battle resulting in over $100,000 in legal costs to the family farm, all with no improvement or protection of the environment. This amendment is intended to make it clear that the Corps is not to use any funds to regulate activities that are already excluded from regulation under Section 404F1, A and C of the Clean Water Act, and that the recapture provision in Section 404F2 is not to be used to undermine those sections of 404F1 permitting exemptions. The amendment allows that the permitting exemptions to stand on their own merits without the Corps and EPA negating their use through clever legal interpretations. In no way does this amendment attack or limit regulation of wetlands or our nation's waterways. As a rancher myself, with wetlands, ducks, other wildlife on my land, I know full well the importance and value of reasonable protections for our natural resources. Today, farms in California and elsewhere are being targeted for simply changing crops or irrigation methods. They're doing their best to follow every law, the spirit of the law, but are being targeted for something Congress explicitly exempted. This amendment simply limits funds to ensure that agencies of government only spend money to follow the laws as Congress wrote them. I urge all members to please support this amendment. I reserve my time.